Good afternoon in this webinar for teaching speaking skill. At the beginning, please allow me to introduce my colleagues in the studio, Miss Ula Al-Mu'i, English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate, and teachers of English from the right, Miss Abir Al-Hassan, Miss Huda Ibrahim, and Miss Sana Ismail, and me, Abdul Majid Ogharli, Coordinator of English Language at the National Center for Curricular Development. Before we start, let's see a video, please. Yes, that's it.
How are you? I'm fine. What about you? I'm fine, thank you. What did you do last holiday? I played music at my kitchen and I did my homework. Thank you. I read a story, went to my village and watched TV. Nice. Hi. What are you doing? We are talking about our holiday. Oh, really? Yes. What did you do last holiday? I visited my grandmother and our stepparents. It was a very interesting holiday. Yes. Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, that's great.
Thank you. So, again, as a start, I would like to thank the managers of the platform, Ms. Rima Shuaib, she's with us, and Mr. Mahmoud Hamid, and the brave director, Ms. Hibatullah Eid. Thank you so much for being with us for today. Teaching speaking skill is our webinar for today. We have slides to talk about. We're going to start with Ms. Ula.
Hello.
To tell us about this technique for teaching as you're going to help our dear teachers how to teach speaking skill. Please, Ms. Ula.
To start with the video, it's very interesting to see students speaking this with they are full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
They are happy doing that, and we have to concentrate on this point. That it gives them something to have fun. They are having fun learning the language. So speaking is very important, and we can start by why to teach speaking.
Yes.
First of all,
Can we move, Ms. Hiba, the slides?
We can talk about students' needs.
Yes.
They need
so
to
at the
learn.
beginning, we need to specify students' need.
So they need to learn speaking for globalized job market.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the aims.
We are preparing students for the market, for the job market in the future. Internationalized studies, if they want to continue studying post-graduation, survival skills, and cross-cultural communication.
Yes.
So we have to offer them the communicative confidence then to communicative competence. Communicative confidence, it means to break down the barriers, to make them able to speak, to use the language.
Actually, we have something here, I think we corrected it. We shouldn't have put the question mark. It's not a question anymore.
Okay.
Yes, okay, thank you. Next, Ms. Hiba. Here is the definition of speaking by two professors. Ms. Abir can tell us about the first definition.
Now, the first definition is speaking is the process of building and sharing meaning through the use of verbal and non-verbal symbols in a variety of contexts.
Yes,
now
this was Cheney, 1998.
Non-verbal, we mean something like body language. Maybe we communicate through
non-verbal when you mime sometimes.
Yes, exactly.
So part of the conversation, when someone asks you about something and you don't know, you can mime.
This is kind of
communication. Speaking, yes, communication. The second, Ms. Huda.
Yes, speaking is an interactive process of constructing meaning that involves producing and receiving and processing information.
Thank you. Brown 1994.
So it's three parts: producing, receiving, and processing.
Exactly.
Information.
Yes. Now, what is teaching speaking? Miss Sana.
Okay. What is teaching speaking? First of all, produce the English speech sounds and sound patterns.
Yes.
The second one, use word and sentence stress, intonation, and rhythm.
Thank you very much for saying this because it is very important. It's not just speaking.
Of course.
Yes.
We need as teachers to take care for the stress, sentence
Stress is
stress,
very
word
important.
stress, the intonation,
Intonation again.
and the rhythm.
Rhythm.
Okay.
Yes, continue, please.
The intonation means the way someone's voice rise and falls.
Yes, going up and down while
Okay.
speaking. Yes, this is
And about the
intonation.
stress, we should stress the content words only. For example, action verbs, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, um, and so on. Not the articles and the prepositions.
Usually we stress the
shouldn't-
important
Yes,
Yes,
words.
important, the content words.
And not only that, even words, sometimes we have two syllables or three syllables,
Yes.
and we have one stressed syllable. We're going to have another webinar, as Ms. Ola suggested, to talk about pronunciation and stress. Now we're going to move to continue with
Okay. The
speaking.
third one is select appropriate words and sentences according to the audience, situation, and subject matter.
Yes, so the teacher, before he starts any speaking session, to prepare the students with the vocabulary they are going to use
He
so
can write
that
them on
they
the board.
follow a track. Yes.
He can write them on the board or distribute
Yeah, he needs to write them on
them on. Yes.
the board so that they can see the words while they are making the conversation.
Okay. The fourth one is organize their thoughts in a meaningful and logical sequence.
Yes.
The fifth one, use language as a means of expressing values and judgments.
Yeah.
The last one is to use the language quickly and confidently.
And confidently.
This
So
is
these
our
types
goal.
show a good conversation. Next, Ms. Hiba. Well, here we have the four skills. Ms. Ola.
We have started earlier with listening skill. Now we're moving to the speaking skill, but we have to mention something that we have receptive skills and productive skills.
Mhm.
The four skills are listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Yeah.
The receptive skills, the one we receive, they
Yes.
are listening and reading.
And reading. Yes.
The ones we produce, they are speaking and writing. And we have to mention that listening and speaking are oral,
Yes.
communication, reading and writing are written communication.
Next slide, please. Ms. Hiba, yes, thank you. Now, psychological characteristics of speech. Ms. Abir.
Now, speech must be motivated. Speech is always
So the teacher's job is to motivate his students
his
to speak.
students, yes.
Yeah.
They have to put in mind these characteristics because they are important while practicing
Yes,
or while
they
activating.
are practicing this
course.
language, and they are not only reading or writing.
Exactly.
This is speaking. So, speech is always addressed to an interpreter.
An interlocutor is someone who speaks with another one.
Yes.
Part of the conversation.
Speech is always emotionally colored,
Mhm.
and it's situational.
Yes, it's always according to the situation. You have to prepare.
Emotionally colored, we have to mention that you feel that you are happy while speaking or you are sad. We feel that.
Interactions and
Thank you for clarification. Linguistic characteristics of dialogue speech. Miss Huda.
Yeah. The use of incomplete sentences, ellipses in
This
the
is called ellipsis, yes.
ellipsis
Incomplete
in-
sentences.
yeah.
We
a response.
delete part of it.
Yes. We have example. Where do you live? In Damascus.
So not saying I live in Damascus. They
yes.
can use ellipsis and say in Damascus.
Another example. How many books do you have? Only one or one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The use of contracted forms doesn't, won't, haven't, or can't. Three, the use of some abbreviations, lab, bike, math, fridge, etc.
Mhm.
Four, the use of conversational tags.
Yeah. Thank you. Next, Miss Hiba. Prepared and unprepared speech. Your turn, Mr. Ola, to tell us
Now,
about
we
this.
can say that speech can be prepared or unprepared. We can put in mind things and work on that. Speak following the plan. For example, when you speak on a subject suggested by the teacher, so we have a teacher suggesting a subject and we can talk about this subject. Or we can speak on the text thread. So we have a text maybe in the book and we can talk about this text. Let's say we have a text about Palmyra and tell me about a visit you have done earlier. Discuss problems touched upon in the text read or heard. Let's say we have a text or something, an issue about the global warming, for example, and you can talk about the topic. Help a foreigner, example, to find the way to some place. You are in the street, you are stopped by a foreigner.
Directions.
Okay,
for
this is a
example.
plan.
This
You need
is-
to organize
Yes.
your ideas before
Okay.
speaking.
Actually, when you speak to a foreigner, this is unprepared speaking.
Yeah.
No, I mean you have to prepare the direction. You
Yeah,
can't speak
okay.
without thinking about.
Actually, when we say prepared and unprepared, at the beginning we need to teach prepared conversation.
Of course.
While that, they can acquire, the students can acquire phrases, sentences by practicing. They have them in their mind, in the reservoir, if I may. Later on, when the conversation is unprepared, they can use it.
Yes.
And actually, in life, they will meet a lot of unprepared conversation. So we start teaching the prepared conversation to reach them to
fill the story.
yeah, yes, to be able to use conversation in English.
For
Thank you.
example, when they write a subject is something prepared.
Mhm.
While when they express themselves in sentences, this is unprepared.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Now, types of classroom speaking performance. Miss Sana,
The types of classroom speaking performance. The first one is imitative.
the teacher says something
Yes,
and the
and
students
repeat.
imitate what the
Imitate.
teacher said, or they can imitate the audio from the CD player.
So this can be related to listening.
Yes.
They listen and
Yes.
imitate.
The second one is responsive. The third one is transactional. And the last one is interactional.
Interaction. Now let's differentiate between transactional and interaction. Miss Ola.
Okay, let's start with imitative first. Imitative type.
Yeah, good. Okay, next slide, Miss Hiba, please.
We can have few tips for the teacher to follow while using the imitative type. First of all, keep them short, only 1 or 2 minutes from of a class hour. Keep them simple. Make sure students know why they are doing this drill. Limit them to phonology or grammar points. Make sure they ultimately lead to communicative goals and don't overuse them. I'm going to give an example how to students imitate the teacher. For example, they are teaching them grammar like present continuous. They can say the boy is playing football. So they can repeat after the teacher. The boy is playing football. The boy is playing basketball, etc. So this is kind of imitative, but it should be short, and they shouldn't overuse them.
Thank you. Miss Abir,
Yeah.
responsive type.
Now here we have to look at the reactions of the students. Here we have to some dialogues or questions such as, how are you today? Now, pretty good. Thanks. And you? Now this is speaking. What is the main idea in this essay? The United Nations should have more authority. So what did you write for question number 1? Well, I wasn't sure, so I left it blank.
So we can say
Yeah.
that the teacher started the conversation and students continue.
And then maybe
Yes.
the students do this conversation with each other.
Teacher,
So
student,
not-
then
yeah.
student,
Student,
student. Yeah, it's
yes.
okay. But we need to ask our teachers to be careful and to concentrate on the feelings, the colored situation,
Reactions.
the reaction, so that when I say, how are you today?
Yeah.
Not to say, how are you
How are
today?
you? Yes.
I'm fine, thank you. This is
Yeah.
not
Like
nice.
Without emotions,
Yes.
without, yeah.
You say, I'm fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
What
like,
about you?
Like we have just seen in the video, they are full of energy
Yes.
and they are
Yes.
happy
Yes.
with
Yeah.
the speaking.
Pretty good. Or I'm okay. Now this is he's
Now,
Except
who
that's
wants
yes.
to talk about transactional?
Okay, I will.
Okay,
read
Miss
it.
Huda.
Yeah, transactional dialogue. What's the main idea in this essay? The United teacher and student dialogue. It is the United Nations should have more authority. Teacher, more authority than it does right now. What do you mean? Well, for example, the UN should have the power to stop wars between countries.
Thank you. Actually, transactional means to talk formally about one specified subject and not to talk about something else. Here, it's talking about the authority of United Nations. So we don't ask about the weather, about something else. While in interactional dialogue,
We can have different.
we can talk about different issues.
topics.
And
Okay.
this is the next
Take
one.
next slide. Interactional.
You have
Yes.
just said something about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is conversation between two or more people about one or more
So
topics.
more different topics.
Next, Ms. Hiba. Teaching, two forms of speaking. We have monologue and dialogue. Someone may think that monologue is like artists who practice monologuing on the theater. No, we didn't mean that.
No,
We meant the student can express him or herself by speaking, but we need someone to talk to. But the other one is going to just receive the information. How many stages do we have for teaching monologue?
We have three stages, but we can start with defining monologue to make it clear. Is the speech of one person who expresses his thoughts and feelings in a particular situation. This is the definition. Pupils should be able to express their thoughts and feelings about something and attitudes towards the fact in a definite situation within topics and language substance the syllabus requires. Here, the pupil's speech should be motivated, situational, and addressed to someone. So they are not speaking to themselves.
Yes.
They should be addressing someone.
It's not a soliloquy.
So the first level is the statement level. We have
The
three
statement
levels.
level, Ms. Huda.
The statement level, yeah. We are proud of, for example, pupil one, we are proud of our country. We are country of
So
our...
we can motivate the students and give them the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm proud of. And the student needs to say what he
We have different
completed in many ways. Pupil 2, we are proud of our sportsmen. Pupil 3, we are proud of our school. We are proud of our...
So the idea here is that to start speaking, you need to be able to make a sentence.
Yes.
And how can we help students make sentences?
So we give them a pattern,
exactly,
a model.
I'm happy
to
today
use.
because
Then he can choose.
This is the
he
beginning.
should complete the sentence.
Here we have some way substitution. For example, I have a pen. I have a book.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Yeah.
I have a pencil. I have a doll.
Yeah.
So
etc.
I have is the beginning for
and
all
They can
these
continue.
subjects.
We are helping them to make the sentence. Now they can do the sentence themselves.
Exactly.
We can use extension also. I have an interesting book. I have an interesting book at home.
At home. This is an
Yes, we can
extension.
extend the sentence. We can use transformation. Like he has a book, he has no books. This is transformation.
Or
And the last one
completion.
is completion. If I have time, I'll blah blah blah. We can complete this
Yes,
conditional sentence.
All the sentences start. If I have time, I will. Then the student can.
What will you do with the other student? What will you do, etc.
Yeah.
We can give it a name. For example, we write with. What do we write with? We study or we use the computer in. They can use or name something or say the opposite. I live in Tartus. I don't live in Damascus, for example. He likes to play. He doesn't like
to play something else.
He likes apple.
Or he doesn't like.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. The utterance level.
The second level now.
Yeah, this is second level. Utterance, Ms. Ula.
Okay, the utterance level. The pupils should learn to combine statements. Now they have learned to say to make a sentence or a statement. Now they have to combine statements of various sentences patterns in a logical sequence. In this level, pupils are to say few words about an object, a subject, or for example, this is a pencil. This is one statement. The pencil is green. It's related to the first one. It's on the table. I like the pencil.
Here we have 4 sentences joined together by the student. Yes.
In a logical sequence.
Next, yes, thank you. The discourse level, the conversation, the speech level.
Okay, the discourse level, pupils are asked to speak on a picture, film, comment on a text they have read or heard, make up a story of their own.
Thank you. Let's clarify this.
Yeah.
So the teacher can show them a picture and ask them about the picture. So they practice speaking by explaining or talking about an idea about the picture. Or the teacher can ask them about a film they have seen to talk about that film. Or something they have read or they have listened to. Or they can make up their own story just to speak, to invent.
So it's more than just one sentence or more than one sentences related to each other. Now it's a discourse, different ideas.
And the teacher supplies the pupils with what to speak about. Here we have example about a story called The Farmer's Treasure. It can be any any story.
Maybe a story from the 11th
We
grade.
reach teaching dialogue. Dialogue is important.
What do you
Miss
mean by
Huda?
dialogue?
Yes. A conversation between two interlocutors. Interlocutors, yes. It's always situational and emotionally colored.
Colored. So we
Yes.
need to show what
Feelings.
situation we are talking and our feelings.
Our feelings.
So we
exactly.
need to
Express
teach the students while speaking to work as if they were actors, not just to read.
Exactly.
They
yes.
need to
Show
be
emotions.
involved. They
Yes.
need to be involved in the conversation. It's not just like robots repeating
Yes.
something.
Exactly.
Now,
Dialogue is generally unprepared.
Unprepared.
Yeah.
It's better to be unprepared.
Exactly. But can be prepared and planned as well.
of course,
Like you
as
have
we
said
said,
before, it has to be
we
a
need to
prepared
teach them
first.
something planned. When we say, "How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you." "What about you?" But later on,
They
when
can
they see
continue.
someone, they can use them without planning for it.
Exactly.
Pupils need
Some words and phrases to put in mind to start a conversation, to join, to confirm, to argue, to reject, to invite, to comment, and so on. For example, I'd like to tell you this is only one O.
Yeah.
so these expressions
spelling
can be
mistake,
used
okay.
by a student while he is practice speaking. I'd like to
To tell you only one O. And what about I mean to say, I hope, thank you, etc. These phrases make dialogues more lively and emotional.
Yes.
Give it color, let's say.
Yes. Next, please. The stages in teaching dialogue. Miss Abir.
Now we have the first one is that it is receptive.
Yes, receptive.
Yeah. Then reproduction.
And the reproduction has three elements.
Yeah. They are immediate and delayed, modified. Modified.
Can we explain these three elements? Immediate means to answer immediately
Yeah.
what we listen to. The delayed to wait until we prepare something,
Or some time.
and the modified to change the whole conversation to something else. For example, maybe Ula was saying something about her. I change it, I modify it to be about me, and I reproduce it about me. Number three, stage
Number three, constructive or creative.
and this is the best. This is what we
Yes.
want to reach with
Yes,
our students, to be
The
creative.
final stage. This is the final stage, our aim, let's say.
Now, the receptive part.
So we start. How do we start speaking? We receive first.
Always, before we receive, we cannot produce.
Exactly.
And there is a saying which says you cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we
And
need to
that's
receive.
why we started with listening, teaching
Yes,
listening. And we
yes.
said earlier that a kid or child learn to listen first, then they start speaking.
And although we are preparing, or we prepared to show them one by one, but this can be integrated, as we are going to see with Ms. Huda, listening with speaking, reading with speaking, writing with speaking, listening, reading, writing. So it is integrated. It can be separately and it can be integrated. Yes, pupils listen first to the dialogue once or twice. Miss Abir, then they.
Yes, then they read the script silently for better
So
understanding.
after they listen to something,
They
they
read
can
it
read
silently.
the script.
And then the teacher helps them to comprehension of the dialogue using pictures. Now the
Yes.
teacher shows the pictures.
Always we need tools,
Yeah.
the aids, pictures, flashcards. Always
They are very
the teacher
helpful.
uses
Yes.
his aids. Yes. Now we move to reproduction. Ms. Sana.
Okay, reproduction. Three kinds of reproduction must be underlined. The first one, immediate. Pupils listen to the dialogue, imitating the speaker. Attention should be paid to the pronunciation and intonation.
Very
This is
important.
very important, and it is the teacher's job to tell his students or her students about how the intonation is going and which
Higher
words
or
are
lower?
stressed
Stressed
and
and-
why it is stressed.
Okay, the second one is delayed. Pupils enact the pattern dialogue in person. Listen a second time before that.
So they have to listen twice.
Yeah, they
before
listen
enacting.
twice, then they act.
Yes.
They act.
And now the last one is modified. Pupils enact the dialogue, changing some elements in it. The more elements they change in the pattern, the better they assimilate the structure of the dialogue.
Actually, these 3 points summarize the action-oriented approach. In the past, in the 1980s, we used to teach the communicative approach. Now, it is the action-oriented approach, which is different because we need a task at the end. So it's not only we make the students practice a conversation in an audio or a video, they need to modify this to be about themselves. Yes, next please.
The first two types aim to store up the patterns in pupils' memory for expressing themselves in different situations.
Yes,
So we need to fill our brain with words, vocabulary, phrases, and then we can move to the last
this
stage.
is very important. You're talking about it. To receive, practice, practice, practice until this is memorized. No, back, Ms. Siva, please. Yes. Next. Yes, that's it.
Through this, we can get to the final stage, which
The
is constructive or creative. Here,
this is what we aim
exactly
at.
our goal, our final destination, let's say. Pupils are given a picture of a situation and they make up their own dialogue.
Yes.
This is the point, to be creative.
Yeah, this is the end of our teaching, when the students be able to produce, to create their own kind of dialogue by just giving them kind of situation or picture. So we fulfilled our job. Now next, please.
No, before, the one before.
Yeah.
4 main dialogue structures.
Yes.
Ms. Huda.
Okay. Question number 1, question response. Example.
So one
A
structure
question and
is
answer, yes.
question and response.
Yes, we have a statement, question, 3 statement, statement, 4 question, a question.
Give us examples.
Yes. Number 1, question response. Example. When did you visit your dentist? Last week. Number 2, statement question. We are going to travel to Homs. What kind of transport will you choose? This statement question. 3, statement, statement. Example. I would like to go to the cinema on Saturday. I advise you to go to the cinema on Monday or Tuesday. 4, question, a question. Means you ask a question and the answer is
Question
also a question. Can I help you? How can I get to the hotel? So
Yes,
this is
thank you.
question, a question.
Next, Ms. Of course, we have follow-up questions.
Yes.
But just we are giving the main example. Activities to promote speaking.
There are so many activities actually, but these are some of them.
Yeah, this is kind of hint to the teachers. Discussion,
Role play,
simulation,
information gap, brainstorming, interviews, story completion. These are examples and they can give...
These are not all.
No, of course not.
There are more than
Examples,
that.
yes.
And they can be creative, of course.
Exactly.
Of course. Next, Ms. Hiva. Suggestions for using dialogues in the classroom. Ms. Abi.
Now, the first one is to introduce new vocabulary and help students become familiar with the standard formulas used when discussing various topics.
Yes, so always when we teach speaking, we need to have new vocabulary. And the job of the teacher is to make these students be familiar with the new vocabulary by writing them on the board, eliciting the meaning from the students, writing the meaning in English on the board, his own choice. But in the end, they need to be prepared for the new vocab before they practice speaking.
As gap fill exercise for students as a listening exercise.
Yes, here it is, they listen and they say what is missed in the audio.
Use dialogue for role play. And have students write dialogues to use key vocabulary and language formulas.
No, this is writing.
Yes.
Yes.
This is about writing.
With the speaking, yes.
Have students memorize simple dialogues as a way of helping them to improve their vocabulary skills, and they can practice the dialogue that they heard.
Actually, as we said, we need to receive, practice. After we practice, we will learn them. After learning them, we can reuse them because we have them already. Next, Ms. Hiba. Tips, Ms. Sana.
Tips for teachers in teaching speaking. First of all, provide maximum opportunity to students to speak. Not just the good students. We should share.
Yes. And we need to take care for individual differences.
Yes. The second one is try to involve each student in every speaking activities. I think it's the same. The third one is reduce teacher speaking time in class.
So he is a facilitator.
Yes, to minimize their role.
Yes.
The fourth one is indicate positive signs. It's very, very good, excellent. don't correct students' pronunciation mistake immediately.
That's important.
That's important, but in the first grade, it's important to correct these mistakes because
But not in a way that makes barriers between them and speaking. We care about fluency rather than accuracy, especially in the first grade.
We can have reconciliation. After we listen to the mistakes, the teacher can ask every individual, not choral, every individual to repeat after her or him correctly the words many times so that the pupil acquires the word correctly, but not to correct immediately. When a student says apple, the teacher to repeat apple or so on.
They will stop.
Yeah. So let them say freely. After that, the teacher can repeat many times, asking individually, not chorally. Because chorally, you cannot know who is making a mistake. And the one who is making a mistake will learn it like it because he repeated it many times. It will be fossilized in the way. So avoid chorally and concentrate on individual. Yes, Ms. Sarah?
Okay. Involve speaking activities not only in the class, but also out of the class. Move around the classroom to ensure the students are on the right track.
This is important. While teaching,
Because
the teacher needs
the
to go
teacher
around
is
the class.
monitoring, yes. The last one is provide the vocabulary beforehand and diagnose problems.
Yes, always. We need to prepare our students for the new vocabulary, the meaning, to elicit the meaning from them, not to tell them the meaning in Arabic, not to elicit the meaning from them. Miming, using objects, tools, pictures, body language, anything to make them understand, but not to translate. We don't want translation. Next, Ms. Hiba.
Conclusion.
We reached the conclusion. Ms. Abir.
Yes. Now, teaching speaking is a very important part of the language learning. The ability of communicative clearly and efficiently contributes to the success of the learner in school and success later in every phase of life. It makes students more active in learning process and at the same time makes their learning more meaningful and fun for them.
Thank you so much. Actually, a lot of teachers would say, is that enough? Of course not. We cannot comprise all or everything about speaking in 1 hour, but we're here just to shed light on some tips to the teachers, and we're going to have other webinars to talk more clearly about these issues, but we just wanted to start, and my colleagues have prepared types of speaking for grade 1, grade 7, and grade 11. I think Miss Sana prepared for grade 1. Please start, and Miss Hiba is going to start yours on the screen.
Yes.
I hope our dear teachers will get benefit from what we are presenting.
We hope that.
And what we are going to present as samples for grade 1, grade 7, grade 11 is not everything. Of course, any teacher can be creative, has his own her production. Miss Sana, please.
Okay, Unit 7, the topic is colors and the structure WHO questions. Yes, as they learned about the colors in previous lesson and learned the structure of WHO question, what color is this? Now I ask the students to look at this picture
so
here.
This is Unit 7, grade 1, colors.
Yes, I ask them to look at the paint pot here, and I ask them the question, what color is this? I elicit the answer from some students. I try with the first one until the last one. Now I ask them to work in pairs. Asking and answering.
Wanted to say something for the teachers about this. Sometimes a student may not, especially grade 1, may not know what to say. When I say, what color is this? So the teacher motivates by repeating the answer. Let's say Abir is the student. I say, what color is this? She is not responding. I say, it's green.
Yeah.
What color is this?
Green.
It's green.
Yeah.
What color is this?
Green.
It's green. What color is this?
Green.
It's green. So I repeat the question
Yeah.
and the answer so that the student will know later that I want him.
Okay, ask them to work in pairs, asking and
we'll learn-
answering
Yeah.
each other about these.
Later
paintings.
they
Yes,
can
yes.
do it
And
with each other.
this
Yes.
way is helpful just to pronounce the vocabulary well and
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can
Some
help by
vocabulary.
suggesting the answer. For example, is it a green or blue?
Yes.
It's a green.
Yes, green.
It's a blue. You know, some
Yes.
students
Yeah,
maybe they
many
are shy.
ways.
Mr. Majid,
They are
because
shy,
they
for
learned
example.
these skills in the previous lesson.
Yeah,
What color?
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm not talking
We
about
didn't
good
say
students.
anything. Yes.
The teachers always say we have weak students.
And remind
We
them.
are giving advices for the weak ones.
Well,
Okay. Now
encouraging
I
them.
walk. Okay, I walk around the class, monitoring their mistakes. In this stage, it's important to
So
correct.
they can work in pairs,
Yes, the work in
asking
pairs.
each other.
I can go around the class, monitoring their mistakes. And it's important in this stage to correct their mistakes because, you know, they are the first grade pupils. They may make mistakes with the pronunciation of some words. Now, what's also important in this stage is to make them communicate in English. Try to use the language by themselves.
The next slide, Ms. Hiba,
Yes.
please. Number 2, yes. Here is conversation between two pupils.
Okay, in this picture, I ask them to work in pairs. I group them, group 1, group 2, group 3, and to ask about the object here in this picture. For example, someone asks, what color is the car? What color is the bus? And so on.
What color is the
Okay.
tree? Yes,
Yes.
it's green. And after practicing this, we ask them to modify about other things, which is the task, the final task. So a student needs now here to create. We'll ask
Maybe,
him, ask your friend,
classroom objects. maybe.
Yeah, classroom
objects.
objects, yes.
And here is the result that they can use the language, not only to repeat the conversation in the book, they need to practice.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, they will learn how to rectify their mistakes with the exposure of the language because they are repeating.
Yes.
They will rectify their mistakes. Now, the last picture here, we combine between counting the number, learning the numbers, and the objects, transportation, you know,
Color.
car,
Cars,
bus,
colors.
okay,
Houses.
and the colors. I asked them, for example, how many red buses are there? Okay, and so
They
on.
will count.
So they need to learn here counting
Counting
Yes.
and
Colors.
saying the
and
color.
Colors.
Yes.
And numbers.
Yes.
Multifunctional, this one.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Now we move to Miss Huda.
Yes.
You're prepared for grade 7?
Yes, exactly. Unit 3.
Unit 3, Miss
Schools.
Hiba is going to prepare your section.
Okay. About school subjects,
mhm.
I will pick some students and ask them to answer me about their favorite school subjects.
Mhm.
Really answer very English, Arabic, math, science, and so on. I will ask them the following question. I have these cards, really. I will distribute them to the students.
Mhm.
I will ask them, for example,
What are
if
the
the
cards?
card, yes, for example, the card,
Math.
Subjects,
math.
okay.
Do you like math? If the answer is no, why not? Because it's should answer because it's difficult or boring or difficult
But
and
you
boring.
prepare them
Exactly.
before that with
Before
a new
them.
vocabulary.
For sure,
Mhm.
for sure. The names of the subjects and whatever vocabulary. And then I ask them to work in pairs to ask each other the same questions. Do you like, for example, do you like English? Yes, I do. Why? Because it's interesting, exciting, easy, and so on. And they work in pairs together on the same paragraph. And then there's a video that shows it. Let us see the video, please, Ms. Hiba. Yes, this is the video.
About favorite school subjects. So I'm going to ask you guys about your favorite school subject. Someone, what's your favorite subject? My favorite subject is English. Ask your friend, what's your favorite subject, Amani? My favorite subject is French. What's your favorite subject, Dana? My favorite subject is English. What's your favorite subject, Ella? My favorite subject is math. Thank you, girls. Okay, now I have these cards and I want you to
choose one of them. Choose one, Samar. Choose one, Amani. Choose one, Zaina. Choose one, Hala. Okay, show me your card, Samar. Arabic. Do you like Arabic?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because it's difficult.
Okay, ask your friend. Show me your card, Amani.
Yes. Do you like English? Yes, I do.
Why?
Because it's very easy and interesting.
Show me your card, Zaina.
Science.
Do you like science?
No, I don't.
Why not? Because it's very boring. Show me your card, Hala. Oh, math. Do you like math?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because it's exciting.
Thank you, guys.
Really, this kind of activity is so helpful and fun to the students, and they will enjoy it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Huda. We move to Miss Abir. You prepared for grade 11
Yes.
speaking post.
Yes, unit 3, 2. And here we have to listen and students.
To listen first,
Yes.
you ask the student
Now,
to
because
listen.
listening and speaking are connected with
Yeah,
each
they're
other.
integrated.
Yeah. So here the
31.
students have to listen to this.
Okay, let's listen
Yes,
together.
let's listen.
Page 31, Exercise 1. 3.3. Listen to a telephone conversation between two friends who are arranging to meet next week. Answer these questions.
Hi, it's Rana. Is that Asma?
Yes, it's me. Hi, Rana.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm very well. Listen, I was wondering if you'd like to meet for coffee later this week.
That'd be great. Which day is best for you?
Well, I was thinking of Tuesday, but
I'm sorry, I can't make it on Tuesday. I'm shopping with my mother. What about Thursday?
Thursday afternoon would be fine.
That's okay for me too. Where shall we meet?
How about the shopping mall? There's a nice little cafe on the top floor.
Okay, good idea. What time?
Is 3 o'clock all right?
Yes, that's fine.
Great! We could have a coffee and a chat, and then maybe we could go shopping together.
Okay, so see you then. Thanks for ringing.
That's okay. See you Thursday. Bye.
Goodbye.
Now here the students listen to the conversation, and this is a telephone call, and they listen maybe once or twice. Then I make them into groups. They can ask and answer each other, and they can do this suggestion of meeting places. We can look at this video.
Mhm.
Here we have my students. They did this.
Let's see the video,
Yes,
Miss Hiba.
Hello, Layla is here.
Hi, Layla. It's Cedar. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm very well. Listen, I was wondering if you would like to meet next week on Tuesday.
I'm sorry, I can't make it on Tuesday. I am shopping with my mom.
What about on Wednesday?
That would be great. Where could we meet Wednesday?
How about the city mall?
Good idea. Good idea.
We could have the shawarma sandwich.
That is for me.
Okay, see you on Wednesday.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much. I hope no one will say this is an advertisement for
Yeah.
something else.
And for shawarma sandwiches.
Yeah, actually, we all love shawarma,
Yeah.
especially me. Dear teachers, dear colleagues, we hope you have enjoyed our webinar. At the end of our webinar, I want to thank my colleague, Ms. Ula Al-Muaid,
Thank you.
English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate, and Ms. Abir Al-Hassan, English Language Teacher, Ms. Huda Ibrahim, English Teacher, and Ms. Sana Ismail, English Teacher, and me, Abdul Majid Ogharli, the Coordinator of English Language in the National Center for Curricular Development. We hope you have all benefit in your life, and we hope to give you something as a beginning for those who think that they need this. Those who don't need, it's good. We need them to teach us something new. And as we always say, we are not the best. We're just giving kinds of hints to help each other improve. Uh, Wait, please, for us in the following webinar about reading skill. Until that time, we hope that you stay safe and sound. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Majid.
Thank you.